As far as I'm concerned, the first thing you can do for me is to chuck all your medals and all your caps and all your pots and all your pans into the biggest flipping dustbin you can find. Because you've never won any of them fairly. You've done it all by bloomin' cheating.
Morning folks, Thursday the 22nd of November, and the last 48 hours has been very interesting, to say the least. We've had the verdict on the big ET, the big tax case, and lo and behold, they've been found not guilty. It's not guilty. Let's have a fucking rethink here. Not guilty would have been a unanimous 3-0, or 3 judges voting in favour of the Huns, and clearly that didn't happen because it was a 2-1 majority. So in any other court of law that would be a not proven verdict, which means that all the evidence is fucking there, but people just didn't have the balls to process that and come to the right decision. So good on the lassie that voted against for sticking to their morals. These bastards have got away with 80 million quid taxpayers' money that, when you look at things that's going on in the country now, could have paid for like hospitals and people's illnesses. It's all coming out of taxpayers' money. That's what people seem to forget. They're all crying to have these bastards back in the Premier League, but at the end of the day, they've shafted everybody. They've shafted me and you, and they've lined their pockets, and they're sitting there at night loving every minute. But it's a shallow victory, because at the end of the day, the Rangers that we all knew and hated is dead. We now have this fucking aberration, whatever they want to fuck to call it, the Safeco 58 or fucking the Rangers Club, whatever they want to be called. The same vile fans and the same fucking vile institution. It's there. It will only go away as much as we want it to. Okay, it's a bit of a slap in the face for a lot of people who worked hard to try and build a case against them with the EBT thing. I still think that the SFA, irrespective of the decision on the HMRC case, I think the SFA will still stick to their guns and strip them the titles. I personally didn't want the titles given. I'd rather that in the record book it showed void, so that in future years to come, if somebody asks why is that 2004 season or whatever it is, why has that got a void against it, then it would be an easy answer. It would just say, well, that was one of the years that the Huns cheated and they got scrubbed for the record books. So I'd prefer that, actually, because if we take the titles and put in like your Celtics and your Dundees or whatever teams, I can't mind who were in the League Cups against them and that were in the finals, Queen of the South, etc. If you put them in, it puts a smokescreen over the criminality that fucking institution caused for so many years. So anyway, I'm going to take a wee break here. I'll get a wee song on, or a wee bit of airplay stuff, and I'll be back in a minute.
Tonight on Reporting Scotland, a win for the liquidated Rangers Football Club. Its employee benefit scheme paid players and staff £49.5 million in tax-free loans. A tribunal rules it didn't break the law. The former Rangers Football Club has won its case against the taxman over the way it paid some players and staff. A tribunal has ruled that the payments, which amounted to around £49 million, were loans and not earnings, meaning that they were not liable for income tax. HM Revenue and Customs says it may appeal the decision. Our business correspondent David Henderson is here to explain the judgment and what it means for those involved. David.
Yes, Katrina, the stakes were high in this case, and the question the tax tribunal had to answer was quite simple. Were Rangers guilty of tax evasion because they'd paid their players and staff using so-called employee benefit trusts, or EBTs? The tax authorities certainly thought so. They'd hit Rangers with a bill for £49 million. But today a tribunal cleared the club. Some players and staff, though, will not be celebrating tonight. They may have to pay back the millions they earned under this controversial scheme.
The champions of the Scottish Premier League. And once again, it's Rangers.
Victory, but it comes at a price. And title-winning players never come cheap. For decades, the big clubs have paid a fortune in wages and tax. But Rangers' attempt to cut this bill has come back to haunt them. On the field, they were celebrating. Off it, officials took steps to reduce the club's tax bill. Some players and staff were paid through an elaborate loan scheme. The goal, more money to spend and a stronger squad. So here's how it was done. Over a decade, around £48 million was funnelled through so-called employee benefit trusts. Rangers would pay little or no income tax or national insurance, and the players were paid in loans. For years, this system wasn't just used at Ibrox, it was widespread. But that recently changed. It was worrying the tax authorities.
The idea of using them moved from them being available to the whole workforce to very small numbers of employees as a means of putting money or other assets into their hands without an immediate tax charge or sometimes no tax charge at all.
Today's ruling goes in Rangers' favour. The tribunal said the money players received were loans, so the club was correct not to pay tax on it.
Well, in theory it's a loan, and at some point during the lifetime of that player or on their death, that loan can be repayable to the trust. So it's not money that goes back to Rangers Football Club, it goes to the trust, which is separate from Old Co Rangers.
That's a blow for the tax authorities. In a statement they told us, "We're disappointed that we have lost this stage of the court process and we're considering an appeal. HMRC is committed to tackling avoidance, and it is right that we challenge the type of avoidance seen in this case." Sir David Murray controlled Rangers when this tax scheme was operational. Tonight his company told us, "We are pleased with the judgment, which leaves minimal tax liability and overwhelmingly supports the views collectively and consistently held by our advisors, legal counsel and MIH itself." For Rangers fans, this ruling comes too late. Their once mighty club has gone bust.
When we knew at the start it was rubbish, we all knew that for the start. It would never be done with it.
The truth's finally come out, but it's been the supporters who have suffered through everything, the demise of the club, the whole lot.
Now, this ruling may not be the end of the road. The tax authorities, as you heard, may now appeal against the decision that these payments were just a loan. Meanwhile, Rangers liquidators may now look to see if they can force players and staff to repay some of the millions they received. Among them, Sir David Murray, the man who ran the club. Katrina.
Thanks very much, David. Well, let's go now to Ibrox and our sports reporter, Keradine Idsan. So, Keradine, does today's ruling keep the trophy room there intact?
Well, the fans and the new owners here at Ibrox certainly hope so, but that question will actually be answered by the Scottish Premier League's three-man commission that will be chaired by Lord Nimmo Smith. That investigation is looking at whether Rangers failed to disclose benefit trust payments to players over that decade from 2000. At stake, some of the titles and trophies in Ibrox behind me if Rangers are found to have broken the rules. The commission hearings have been put back due to illness. No new date has been set for them yet, but today's tax tribunal will have a significant impact on the evidence that they'll hear. As we've been hearing there, today's rulings declared that most of the benefit trust payments were loans, not earnings. But the ruling also says that the Old Co Rangers do have some tax liabilities from the EBT scheme in a limited number of cases. It will be for the Independent Commission to decide whether and to what extent Rangers broke league rules. But tonight, after a long drawn-out contest with the taxman, Rangers, certainly those in charge of the Old Co Rangers, are savouring a big win.
Going on with this HMRC result, I'm sure that they have got the right to appeal, as like any kind of thing, decision like this, that there's a right to appeal. The Huns got to appeal it, so they should be able to counter appeal it. I mean, there's plenty of evidence there. I personally believe it's just an incompetent decision made by the two people who voted for, or voted them not guilty, rather. It's basically a massive slap in the face to a lot of people who work tirelessly bringing evidence forward. I mean, that evidence is there, it's not going to go away. However they try to cover it up, and however they want to fucking shred fucking documents whenever it was getting stalled. The credibility of the people who handled the case has to be brought into question if they can't see that they were definitely guilty. Right, people right through for the SFA, right through, have to do the right thing now, and independent to put this decision, make their own decision, do the right decision, and find them guilty and strip them. I'm hoping that the Phoenix squad stay in the cesspit of the lower division for years to come, and they suffer for a long, long time. Because basically the whole thing's been a big smoke screen. They've got away with all this debt, screwed millions for the public purse, and it's purely and utterly fucking disgusting. And then you've got Mr. Green, the Pied Piper, what I like to call him, with his crazy rants constantly. Unbelievable, man. The man's, but he's a fucking clown. Like, recently I've now got Manchester United, or saying that Manchester United would love to approve Rangers into the EPL or this. So like, what a pish. The man is unbelievable. Tom English compiled a list of all his rants that he made. I think I posted that up recently on Facebook on my page.
Martin, many thanks. Now, as the administrators of Rangers struggle to resolve the club's financial woes, serious questions are being asked about the probity of its most recent owner and the competence of previous management. The collapse of Scotland's Premier League champions has prompted allegations of tax dodging at Rangers when the Ibrox club was controlled by Sir David Murray. His successor, Craig White, is accused of misleading investors and asset stripping. As a fan of the club and a small shareholder, I flew up to Edinburgh to meet Sir David and started by asking him, why did he sell Rangers to such a disreputable buyer?
Well, you've used the word disreputable. I said I would only sell it who I thought was in the best interest of the club. And the information I had at the time, I think I did so, but as it's materialised thereafter, I was duped. And I think the shareholders were, the media were, and information that's come out since has proven that it was a mistake that I made. And I accept my responsibility, and I got it wrong.
Others would say, David, look, this guy did not even pass the sniff test, much less serious financial scrutiny. It's no good blaming the media or anybody else. Surely you were the seller. You had to secure proper due diligence. Clearly it wasn't done.
Well, that's your opinion. I don't think, with the information I've given you, we could have done much more.
Whatever Craig White's done, he was not responsible for your tax wheeze, what we know as EBTs, Employee Benefit Trusts.
I wouldn't use the word wheeze.
Scheme.
Fine.
It was a scheme.
Yeah.
At best, it seems like a very aggressive tax avoidance scheme. At worst, tax evasion.
It's not tax evasion, it's a discretionary scheme. It's non-contractual with the players. I think you'll find that the law has now been changed 2 years ago, December 2010, so it was stopped. And from our last reckoning at HMRC have confirmed there's 5,000 companies with 50,000 individuals running a similar scheme. So, as you know, it's been going for 10 years.